Alright guys, got the new camera today, so the sound should be a little bit different, video quality should be a little bit better. We're going to go ahead and try to post this video, and I'm going to pick a topic here in the next second or two. But I just want to let you know in case things do sound a little bit different, a little bit louder, maybe look a little bit better, hopefully. That way we can see if this camera was worth it. Got a pretty good deal on it. Just bought it through Amazon. Actually got delivered a day early because everything in my life works out. Like I have mentioned to people. I was just working with somebody today. Was telling her how everything in my life works out. And just happened to have a few strokes of luck, if you would call it that happened at work today. So I was really happy with the way things went today. Some people on the team, I wasn't running the team today, but some people on the team weren't particularly happy. But everything always works out in my life, so to each their own. I try to keep a positive mentality. I believe that what you think about and the vibes that you put out there, you're going to get back in return. And I always try to think positively. Yes, negative stuff does happen in my life. I'm not oblivious to that. But I try to stay as positive as possible all the time. And I notice that everything always does work out in my life because that's the way it's supposed to. Alright, let's pick a topic. We're going to go back to where I had left off. Last vlog was about kids. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Got some good feedback on it. Really hoping this camera, and I added a little bit of lighting and sound quality are a little bit better. I may add different things as this vlog goes along, depending on the audience and as it grows. But kind of looking forward to trying different avenues, trying different things, and kind of building the process along. And you guys will be able to see that change as you watch the videos in the channel. So we're just getting a text message here. Let's see. So, I don't think I want to talk about my business, the one that I had started and was thinking about merging. Actually, yeah, let's go with that because it's kind of been something that I've been thinking about, and it's good to kind of reel you guys in on that loop. So today's vlog will be about my business, the one I started when prior to the update video. I was having considerations about starting another business, a professional delivery company, which I actually did start, and it was successful for me. And I added it kind of as another branch, if you may, as a part of the business that I did have going on while I was in Florida. So that kind of happened through a couple different things kind of lining up. Like I said, everything in my life always works out. So let's see where to begin. So I started my own landscaping business. Kind of took off from there. I had friends and family giving support and kind of grew the business from there. Then I branched out, I believe, let me see, the one I went into next was the professional delivery company that I had started. So I had bought an enclosed trailer at one point and was delivering mattresses for this company there in Florida. And that was pretty successful. I brought my brother in to work with me, and it was just successful for my family and for his. It was just an additional stream of income. And I heard this from a lot of different successful people. If you only rely on one stream of income, so you only have one income coming in to your life, and something happens to you or that particular job, if you may, then what are you going to do if something happens and you lose just that one job? All your eggs are in that one basket. It's always good to have a couple streams of income, and I know it definitely sounds easier, me saying it than actually putting it into practice. So And I get that. It's going to be tough for some people to start another business or to figure out another stream of income. But what I did with my landscaping business, and I talked about this in a prior vlog, is I was looking at my bills and trying to figure out ways to reduce them, and noticed that I could cut my own grass and save money. Not only that, but I enjoyed it. When I was 14 years old, I had started my own business then, pulling weeds and doing landscaping, car washing, you name it, around my local neighborhood. And that's kind of what helped me grow and develop and realize that entrepreneurship is always something that's going to be a part of my life. And yes, I've had worked W-2 jobs and am currently working one, but that's not to say that I don't do my own thing on the side, because you need those multiple streams of income coming in. So just keep that in the back of your mind. And I knew that at a young age that I was really good at that, so I went with what I thought I was really good at. I knew I wanted to start a business, so I went out on that particular venture. I remember buying a trailer from a local trailer place. I always believe in supporting small businesses. So I bought a trailer from a local trailer place. Didn't really know how to drive all that well with a trailer behind my vehicle. I started a business with a 2005 Honda Pilot that had almost 200,000 miles on it, using it to tow. It had a tow hitch, so I strapped my trailer to that before I even had the truck that I have now that I bought for my business, and started with my own personal vehicle. And next thing you know, I'm buying a lawnmower, a zero turn. I don't know if a lot of you are familiar with it, but I didn't know how to drive it, much like the trailer I had attached to my vehicle. So there was a lot of things, a lot of oversights, but I did take that leap. I did jump off the ledge, and I knew I wanted to start a business, and I went forward with doing that. I learned a lot of things along the way, and I created another avenue of income, as well as reduced my bills. And I can't tell you how important that is that's what I did. Is I looked at my bills. I said, how can I reduce them? 1, 2, what am I good at that could possibly reduce my bills? Or 3, I got to be able to create something to generate some income. At the very least, I was going to be saving myself money. And I knew I had a pretty badass mower to start business with. Didn't even know how to drive it. I brought in my stepfather. Shout out to him for helping get my business off the ground. Initially, when we didn't know how to drive it, we took it over to my brother's house, who had a huge lawn. I remember that day so vividly. Took the mower off the trailer. I was still uncomfortable driving it, and I handed it over to him, scared as all hell, and he just takes off along the yard with a sense of confidence that I can say that he was very confident. He made me believe that he knew what he was doing, and I knew that he had some landscaping experience from a golf course that he previously worked at, but I didn't know, and he never talked about driving a zero turn, and to this day I don't know if he knew how to drive a zero turn prior to getting on that. So again, shouts out to him for being able to show that confidence. Kind of one of those things I picked up from him, as well as obviously he taught me how to respect my mother a lot more, and how to care for her, how to treat her, and certain things of that nature. But in relation to my business, so I don't go off on a tangent here, he hopped on the mower, took off around my brother's yard, and it started to downpour. And I just remember laughing to myself. I said, of course it would rain. On a day I'm trying to test out my mower. Mower ends up getting bogged down, like super dirty. He's still out there trying to cut. We're trying to get the yard done. Initially, it's taken us 2 hours to cut this yard. And we had got that time down when we were in the business and doing those things and working together, kind of vibing and getting the business aspects down, kind of because everything takes you a lot of time initially. And then as you progress, things start to get a little bit smoother, you start to get a little bit better, like anything that you practice. Over and over again, you're going to get better at. So we ended up, I think towards the end there, like 30 minutes. So we cut the time into... Well, we cut 75% off the time, so we were taking 2 hours originally, and we took 75% off that. So 30 minutes is what it was averaging us to cut that yard after we got proficient with the tools that we had, and we learned and we got comfortable, and you kind of learn little tricks and techniques so you can get faster. But I remember that being the initial start. I jumped off the ledge, and I can't stress that important, that you got to consistently challenge yourself if you want to progress. I know people that are very happy, my wife being one of those people who's happy. She doesn't want a lead job at her particular job. She's had a lead position before and just doesn't feel like it's for her. And there's some people that you're going to come across that are like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I firmly believe, like I talked about in the last vlog, that if you're not progressing, you're regressing. So for me, I got to consistently challenge myself. I feel like I have to be in a leadership role consistently in order to feel fulfilled. Again, some people get that fulfillment from not doing that, from doing the opposite, just being content with what they do and becoming very proficient and an expert in it. She gets a lot of compliments at work for the job that she does, and that makes her feel fulfilled. So to each their own. The advice I give you in this channel is so you guys can learn from my experiences and the knowledge that I've attained along my life thus far, and how to share those things with you so they'll benefit you, so you don't have to go around wasting your time. You could just simply learn from me, take these shortcuts. And lately I've been calling them cheat codes. And anybody who grew up playing games in the past a long time ago, you remember entering those long cheat codes so you could get to different places a little bit quicker throughout the game, or to give you a different characteristic that maybe you didn't have. Those cheat codes apply to life as well. And you got it. Mentors are cheat codes. There's certain things you could do. I'll give you a perfect example. I know that sometimes I like to eat cereal, although it's very much against my diet. But the cheat code I have is, yeah, I'll have Cinnamon Toast Crunch, let's say. And not being sponsored by them at all, but just for argument's sake. I'll have Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but I went and found milk that was super low in carbs, the healthiest, most ultra-pasteurized milk that I could possibly find, in order to have my cereal not be as bad as it could potentially be with, let's say, whole milk that has a ton more calories and a ton more carbs. That, to me, is a cheat code. So there's certain things and certain cheat codes that I have learned along the way, like I drink 0-calorie drinks now. Those additional calories that I don't drink, and I like to drink tea a lot. I grew up drinking tea. I probably should drink more water. When I'm doing contest prep time, I do drink a lot of water, typically a gallon a day, and I'm not a huge fan of that. I feel like I hold water way differently than other people who do contest prep. But again, to each their own. I still drink a lot of tea on a daily basis, which is consistently primarily water. But there's, obviously some other chemicals in there to give it flavor, but I drink a 0-calorie tea. So those calories don't really have the same effect if I was having the tea that wasn't 0-calorie. Again, another cheat code. Different things I do in my diet. I have a lot of cheat codes for my diet that I picked up along the way as I've started my NPC career. And I plan to do some more competitions this year and get myself into probably the best shape that I've ever been in my life. At least aesthetically. Performance-wise, I don't know. I feel like there's a huge gap in between the performance and the aesthetic portion, which means how you look on the outside. So I feel like there's obviously better performing athletes who may not look as well as a bodybuilder, but they will outperform them every day of the week. So I'm trying to get the best of both worlds, which is immensely hard to do, but I'm trying nonetheless, which is more than a lot of other people can say. So to get back on topic about my businesses, so the next business after that professional delivery, I started a pool service because I noticed some of the clients that I was cutting for had pools, and then maybe initially moved into the area, didn't have a pool guy. So I had a guy who was helping me cut from time to time that had knowledge, had years of experience servicing pools. So I brought him in and we developed a pool company, which he ended up getting all the clients when I left Florida. So shouts out to him, shouts out to Johnny for helping me get that off the ground and then keeping those customers happy. Regardless of what went down or how it went down, I know that the client is kind of what matters most. And if you're continuing to take care of those, I'm happy for what I did for you, and I'm happy for you for what you did for me. I feel like it was a mutually beneficial relationship, and it actually helped my business grow. Another stream of income. So all these things tend to tie in together. And then I bought a pressure washer, a pretty good one. As you start to grow your business, you'll buy tools, and you'll come up with different reasons to buy them. Some being legitimate reasons, a tool that you may need for a particular job, or something that you may have always wanted but never had the reason to go out and get it. I'm very reason driven. A lot of people think that I make impulse decisions, and I firmly believe that I don't. I remember I went out, and to give you another story, I bought a motorcycle. This was when I was in Colorado. I just remember it was snowing. I practically went out, and almost, it was like, I realized I needed to slow down a little bit. But I wanted a bike when I was 18 years old, a motorcycle, a Gixxer, a Suzuki Gixxer. And I waited until I was 28 to reach a certain maturity level and know that I was ready and able to take on that sports bike. Long story short, I went into the store, sat on the sports bike that I thought I wanted, knew the model I wanted. It was a 750 Gixxer, hopped on that thing. One, my feet could barely reach the floor. I'm not short, about 5'8", 5'9", and my feet could barely reach the floor. That was problem number one. Problem number two, felt super aggressive, uncomfortable. I planned on riding it a lot to work, even though in Colorado when I bought it in March, terrible time to buy. There was still snow on the ground in some areas. It's not the brightest decision. But, you can only learn from the mistakes and actions that you've taken and have taken in the past. Everything in the future, you could just kind of best prepare as you can, but what's to say that maybe tomorrow won't clear up, be sunny for the next week in a row? So I always tried to do things that I felt in good time and in good faith that would have the best outcome. So I waited 10 years to buy that motorcycle, bought it, and ended up getting a Yamaha Bolt, which is more of a bobber style bike and much more comfortable, much safer, much slower. I can have that thing open throttle, and it picks up like a motorcycle would, but it picks up more like a heavy, slower. It's a 950cc, so it technically has more cc's than the 750, but if you've ever been on a sports bike or ridden motorcycles ever in your life, you know the difference between a sports bike built for, aggressively, and that stance is different. The bike is completely different than a cruiser. Or less aggressive bike, like a bobber like I have. Excuse me. So, sorry, I ate dinner a little while ago. But I ended up getting that after I sat down, and I had actually went from the Gixxer to another bike. I think it was a Yamaha 2, with much more of a cruiser, but it was just bigger. I didn't really feel it, but it was used. I thought it would be a good investment. But I ended up going with the first year they made the Bolt, which was 2014, bought one of the first models that they had released, and I bought a R-Spec, which was the top of the line model. It came in a little over $8,000, which was relatively cheap, much cheaper than the Gixxer I was looking at. I think the Gixxer was around, I want to say close to $10,000, maybe even more. But I know it was more expensive than the Bolt. And it was going to be more dangerous. The other thing that I saved a lot of money on was my insurance. My insurance is like $30 a month, full coverage on my motorcycle, whereas if I would have stepped on that crotch rocket sports bike, it would have been easily double that, possibly even triple. So better decisions to be made all around. Again, people would say, oh, you went into the dealership and you bought a bike like a few weeks later. No, they didn't see the reality of it. Sometimes people, all they see is the end result. They didn't see the fact that I wanted a bike when I was 18, waited 10 years to get it, went in there to get a Gixxer, actually decided not to get it, went to look at another bike, came back in to buy that bike and it had sold, and then looked at the Bolt, which is the bike I ultimately ended up getting after coming back again. And before I bought the Bolt, the military, the Army, which I was in at the time, makes you take a basic rider course, BRC, so you can learn how to safely ride a bike, because there was a lot of deaths happening, especially on sports bikes. You can imagine a lot of military, young guys like myself then. I consider myself young now too, but were getting into accidents, and some of them being fatal. So they required you to do this, and they required you to ride your motorcycle with a certain amount of protection equipment as well. PPE, personal protective equipment, I think is what it was. So, yeah, had to do all those things. Had to go out and buy a helmet, jacket, pants, all these different things that it was just like starting a business, buying a motorcycle to make sure you ride it safely. Had to do all these prerequisites, and then I did them, and then I got my motorcycle. Then I got on top of it. Then I rode my motorcycle from there. So, back to getting into business and how important it is to have those multiple streams of income. After the pool business, so it was landscaping first, then the mattress company, then pool, and then one of the tools that I bought was a pressure washer. So I bought a pressure washer and then started a pressure washing company, which was probably the least, to do consistent pressure washing. I mean, you can definitely build a business. I know successful people, especially in the area I was in, doing just pressure washing. No landscaping, no pool service, no anything else. But I just couldn't build the clientele for it. But I always wanted a pressure washer, so I came up with an excuse to buy one, bought one, did a couple jobs to pay off the pressure washer, and then it became profitable at that point. I actually ended up keeping that pressure washer and trying to start another business out here in Arizona, doing that part-time. Didn't really take off, ready to put some feelers out there and just can't get it. The clientele isn't there, or it's all taken up by the customers who are out there. So I decided to put my efforts into something else, which I currently do. And I don't really talk about it all that much because it still has to kind of do with the government, and they can get a little weird about that stuff. So I'd rather not bring it up in the podcast, but you guys are more than welcome to see that I'm a team lead at a particular company here in Arizona that's attached to my Facebook profile, and they are based out of Florida. So if you guys have any interest, look at it if you want to find out any more information. That's all I'm going to say about it. And all along the way, so out of those 4 businesses that I started, all along the way I was still trying to keep up with the vlogs. My wife was pregnant. I mean, it was just so much going on. So you can imagine all that stuff going on. And I was still going to school part-time, taking, I think it was 2-3 classes. Yeah, I think it was 3 classes a semester. So it was really chaotic. Talk about being busy. I like to see sometimes how far you can push it. Because everybody's allotted these 24 hours in a day. So the most successful people you know can't buy any more time. Oprah Winfrey can't buy another hour in the day. God, what's his name? Warren Buffett, with all the money that he has, Bill Gates, any of the most wealthy people you know cannot buy more time. And that's one crucial thing that I learned, is what you do with your time. Everybody starts out with a clean slate starting at midnight every single day. And no matter how rich you are, it's what you do with those 24 hours that sets you apart from your peers. So make sure that you're being as successful, as driven as you possibly can. That's why I got back into these vlogs. 1, it makes me feel whole. And 2, it might potentially create another revenue income for me at some point in time. But again, I do this because I enjoy doing it. More than anything. And I feel like I got some good information out there to put to people. A lot of this may seem like common sense. I get that. I've been told it before. But it just may reiterate something and may strike a fire into you to do something that maybe you've been putting off. So those were the businesses that I started. I would say 5 in total. Young Mentor being kind of started before all of them. I always had a passion for doing it, and I had success coaching some of my friends, colleagues, and classmates that I went to school with, and that's why I started doing this Young Mentor stuff. And I found my information quite valuable and asked other people if they thought that it would be worth money at some point in time, and they all agreed yes. So I decided to kind of put this information out there and see where it leads me. So I ended up, when was it? This last year, 2019. So I started my business, I think, in 2017. So not a huge long run for the landscaping. Like I said, the pool portion ended up getting divvied out. I brought the pressure washing portion with me here. The bed delivery service, my brother still does, but with the same guy who helped me get the pools underway. And so that was able to be kind of parceled out. And then what I sold in bulk was my lawn accounts and lawn equipment. And it was basically able to get enough money to pay off the debt that I had incurred in the business, which I was happy about. And then I had to fly to Florida, pick up my truck, and drive it back to Arizona, since I'm back and forth. So, with all that being said, that's what happened. Business sold in 2019, and all in all, it was a great experience. I figured out how good employees work, bad employees work, different management styles, how different things, how you'll vibe better with one person than another. And everything changes on a constant day-to-day basis. The maintenance of equipment, there's just a lot of things. A lot of people see a lot of freedom when it comes to entrepreneurship, but I can't stress enough how much work and discipline goes into getting that freedom. And I probably worked more, harder, longer for maybe the same amount of money that I make now for my own business. So I decided to, like I said, do these vlogs to see kind of what comes of it and see where things pan out from there. And that's pretty much it about the businesses. So, sum it up, I had those businesses, initially started with landscaping, then moved on to the pool service, moved on to the mattress delivery, doing professional delivery. I did work with a couple pawn shops delivering larger items. That was fun for a little bit. Professional delivery, then went into pool service, then went into pressure washing, and Young Mentor's kind of been a staple along the way. And then I sold the landscaping business, kind of parceled out the rest, brought some to Arizona, where I'm currently at for the moment. So, all in all, I think it was a great learning experience. My family got to experience a lot. My family also got to experience the ups and downs of it. I remember when my twins were first born, I was traveling back and forth some nights, finishing my landscaping work. It's outside working in the heat in Florida. It's hot, it's humid, and I was out there cutting grass all day. When I get home, shower, have to drive probably an hour to Orlando, somewhere between 45 minutes to an hour and 15, to go see my boys in the NICU, because they were there over a month. They were born premature at 31 weeks, so they had to spend quite a few weeks in the NICU. And I was doing that as consistently as I could, and my body would allow, without me putting myself into any danger. By danger, I mean driving while being super tired and possibly falling asleep at the wheel. I never put myself at risk like that. So, again, those challenges that come along with owning your own business. You can't rock up PTO owning your own business. You get other people to work for you if you have that benefit and that luxury. Not always available, though. Let's see. But, yeah. I think that pretty much sums up the business. It takes dedication, hard work, consistency in order to do anything, but more so to run your own business. But if it wasn't for the different ideas, me taking those leaps of faith and having that faith in myself and seeing other people, I saw more people had faith in me than I did in my own self. And that's kind of what led me to make those decisions and do what I did. So, if people are telling you that you're good at something, they say your conscience is a good indicator of what you're truly good at. And it tells you right from wrong. It teaches you that. And a majority of the time, that's your little voice telling you what exactly you should be doing. And if you know you shouldn't be eating a good meal, 9 times out of 10 it'll tell you you probably shouldn't be eating that. So again, if people are telling you that you're good at something and you kind of know it in the back of your head too, because you had some prior experience with it, like I did with my landscaping business at 14 years old, I knew that maybe it was something I'd be good at, and it was. And it was a great learning experience. I got to do what I wanted to do. Ever since I got out of the military, I'm trying to tackle and do things that I've always wanted to do. Like I wanted to open up a bar for the longest time, thought it would be the coolest thing, and it was the facade of the bar that I was most interested with, because after working at a bar as a floor manager and as a bartender, I realized that lifestyle, that it was just a facade that I was attracted to. It actually wasn't the business. So needless to say, I never opened up a bar. I just got the experience from doing it, but you gotta try these different things in order to figure out what it is you like and what you're good at and what other people think you're good at, because that information is important as well. So don't be afraid to take those risks. Don't be afraid to listen to people. Listen to that little voice in the back of your head telling you what to do. That's always great guidance. It'll tell you pretty much a lot of things that you already know. Like, you should be getting up early, you should be working out, you should be making the most of your day. And if you choose not to listen to that and continue to be unhappy, try listening to it for a week and just see how that goes for you. And do the things. I was listening to this guy, and he said, I always talk about listening to people. But I get a lot of good information from the people that I learn and that I follow. But let me see where I was going with it. Well, I can't remember now. Yeah, I can't remember. If it goes back into my head, then so be it. But don't be afraid to take those risks. If I didn't take them, and I would have did the safe route, which is probably not have done anything at all, I know I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And where I'm at today is I'm always progressing. And trying to do my best to progress in the best way possible. So I think we'll wrap it up for my businesses. If you guys have any questions? A lot of stuff I did have to learn on my own. Buying insurance, getting a license in your local areas, learning that there's a difference between a license for a county, a license for a state, different licensing for different things. So I think I had to have a handyman license, and then it was another license. I had a total of 3 licenses to operate in one city, which to me was crazy, but so be it. Those were the legal aspects. I had to have a LLC set up, business with a Sunbiz, which handles all the LLCs for Florida, and you got to make sure that your, all your tax stuff is straight. So there's a lot to learn, but I did learn a lot through research, kind of figuring out things on my own, and then asking those who are kind of empowered. So you go see the tax lady and say, hey, what do I need to do? What licenses do I need to operate? You're not the first one to come along, and if you are, then they'll help you figure things out. Go see a small business consultant. Get that professional information like I did. That's what's going to help you be successful. Again, these are little shortcuts, cheat codes for what you can do. Got to write that down for the title. Cheat codes in business. Sorry here. But like I said, these are unedited, so you guys are going to get the full reality of it without it being chopped and screwed like some song that you don't recognize. And that's it. I'm trying to be more real during these vlogs. So if you see prior vlogs and it seems like I was trying to be more modest, it's because I was. I felt then like I had a different audience. I had to act a certain way, had to talk a certain way. But after seeing some of the mentors that I follow, they just try to be them true selves, and that's what I'm trying to portray to my audience through this podcast. Is you guys are getting the real me, all of it, kind of no filter, and I think that's crucial for me to be real and you guys to sense that reality and kind of connect with me there. I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog and enjoy the new camera. A little bit of lighting that I kind of was used an old military headlamp that I have. Shine a little light in my face so I don't look so dim. This is what it looks like without it, and that with it. So I guess it helps. And I hope this sounds a little bit better. We'll see how this video quality stacks up against the videos that were previously posted in standard definition. This one should record in a little bit higher definition. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm doing these things so you guys can be more entertained with the channel, kind of connect with me a little bit better, see me better, and understand me better. So I hope it all works out. Looks like we're coming in around 34 minutes, so I know some vlogs go to 2 hours. I'm trying to keep mine, I don't know, I just go with the flow. The time is what the time is, and you guys will continue to listen as long as you're getting valuable information, and I firmly believe that. So I'll see you guys on the next one with cross-self business being done, and we'll have a different topic for tomorrow. Hope you guys enjoy. And have a good rest of your evening, and we'll see you on the next one.